stop, just for a second. Stop scrolling. That ache you feel in your chest, that hollow echo where you thought a part of your life was supposed to be. That's not a void, it's a doorway. You think this is about heartbreak, about loss, about the person who left or the life you thought you'd have. It's not. This is about the moment the universe finally got you alone so it could tell you who you've been all along. You have to stay with me until the very end of this video. I mean it. The final insight I'm going to share isn't just a concept. It's a truth that will rewire the way you see every single person who has ever walked out of your life. It's the key. Don't you dare click away from your own awakening. Sacred wound. We need to talk about the moment it happens. The shattering, the text message, the conversation, the deafening silence that tells you everything you need to know. It feels like a death, doesn't it? Because in a way, it is. The death of a future you meticulously planned in your head. The death of the identity you wore, the we that felt so much safer than I. The immediate, gut-wrenching conclusion your mind jumps to is, I wasn't enough. Not smart enough, not attractive enough, not successful enough, not whole enough. Your brain scrambles for a reason, a logic to the chaos, and the easiest, most painful answer is always self-blame. This is the first great illusion. That pain you feel, that gaping wound in your sense of self, is not a mark of your deficiency. It is a sacred wound. It is the point of impact where grace was finally able to break through the armor you've been wearing for years. You think your heart was broken, but what if it was just broken open? We spend so much of our lives building walls of ego, of expectation, of control, and we decorate them with other people. We make their validation our wallpaper, their presence our furniture, their love our roof. And when they leave, we don't just feel lonely, we feel homeless, exposed to the elements of our own inner world for the first time. The shock and the grief are real. Let them be real. Don't spiritualize them away, don't bypass them. But underneath that storm of emotion, I want you to hold on to this one tiny radical idea. This is not happening to you. This is happening for you. The universe didn't abandon you, it just cleared the room. Divine solitude. And God, is that room quiet at first? It's a terrifying silence, isn't it? The absence of their breathing next to you at night. The phantom vibration of a text message that never comes. The sheer crushing weight of a Saturday with no plans, no one to report to, no one to anchor your reality. This is the phase most people cannot endure. This is where they scramble. They download the dating apps. They text the ex they know is bad for them. They fill the silence with noise, with booze, with work, with anything to avoid the confrontation with the self that is waiting for them in that quiet. They mistake this profound divine solitude for garden variety loneliness. Loneliness is a state of lack. It's a hunger for external validation. Solitude is a state of presence. It's an invitation to internal discovery. For perhaps the first time in your life, there is no one there to reflect you back to yourself. There is no filter, there is no one to perform for. There is no one to manage the emotions of. There is just you. And who is that? Who are you when no one is watching? What do you actually like? What do you actually believe? What makes your soul light up when you're not trying to impress anyone? This period of solitude is the cocoon. It feels like an ending. It feels like a tomb, but it is where the alchemy happens. It's where you stop outsourcing your happiness, your worth, and your purpose to another human being and begin the terrifying, exhilarating process of generating it from within. You were never half of a whole. You were a universe pretending to be a planet orbiting someone else's sun. This solitude is your chance to ignite your own. You have to learn to sit in that quiet room and not see it as a prison, but as a temple. Your temple. The only person you were ever truly destined to meet is waiting for you there. Painful reflection. Now, let's talk about them, the person who left. For a while, they will live in your head as either a villain or a saint. Either they were the monster who destroyed your life, or they were the perfect one who got away. Both of these are lies. They are fairy tales your ego tells you to avoid a much deeper, more challenging truth. That person was a mirror, a perfect, divine, an excruciatingly painful mirror. Every single thing about them that triggered you, that infuriated you, that made you feel insecure, was a direct reflection of a part of yourself that you have been refusing to look at. Did their inconsistency drive you mad? Where in your own life are you inconsistent with your own values, your own boundaries, your own self-care? Did their emotional unavailability create a chasm between you? Where are you unavailable to your own feelings, your own intuition, your own deep needs? We attract people not at the level of our desires, but at the level of our unhealed wounds. They were never the source of your pain. They were the activator of pain that was already there, dormant, waiting for a catalyst. Likewise, everything you adored about them, everything you put on a pedestal, is a reflection of your own dormant potential. Did you admire their freedom, their creativity, their confidence? That is your own soul showing you what it's ready to embody. You projected your own golden shadow onto them, making them a god, so you didn't have to step into your own power. They didn't break your heart. They showed you precisely where it was already broken, where the old childhood wounds were still festering, where your sense of self was built on sand, and in doing so, they gave you a map. The pain is a treasure map, and every tear you cry is watering the soil for the new you to grow. To stop seeing them as your story's villain and to start seeing them as a brutal but necessary messenger is the beginning of true freedom. Thank them, not for leaving, but for the reflection. Then, turn the mirror back on yourself. True power, this is where the game changes. This is where you shift from a passive victim of circumstance to the active creator of your reality. True power is not getting them to come back. It's not in them finally realizing what they lost. It's not in a revenge body or a post that makes them jealous. All of that is still making them the center of your universe. It's still giving them your energy. The ultimate alchemy is when their return or their absence becomes completely irrelevant to your inner state. It's the moment you genuinely, from the bottom of your soul, stop caring what they think, what they do, or who they're with. This is not a bitter, resentful, I don't care. It's a peaceful, liberated, and sovereign, I don't care. This happens when you take all of that energy you were pouring into them, the worrying, the obsessing, the analyzing, the hoping, and you turn it back onto yourself like a fire hose of devotion. What if you thought about your own purpose with the same intensity you thought about their text messages? What if you analyzed your own dreams with the same focus you analyzed their last conversation? What if you invested in your own growth with the same hope you invested in their potential? You would become unstoppable. This is where you build your empire. Not an empire of money or things, though that often follows. An empire of self, an empire of resilience, of self-trust, of unshakable inner peace. You take the rubble of the life that was torn down and you use it as the foundation for a palace. You stop waiting for an apology and you give yourself the closure you need by choosing you. You realize the love you thought you lost was just a pale imitation of the love you are capable of giving yourself. This power, this self-generated magnetism is what makes you truly attractive. Not just to a new partner, but to life itself. Life is drawn to those who are whole, and wholeness is not found in another person. It's forged in the fire of your own self-reclamation. Karmic contract. Okay, you've stayed with me this long. You've walked through the wound, the solitude, the reflection, and the power. Now, this is it. This is the final piece. This is the insight that will not just heal you, but will liberate you from the entire cycle of pain and victimhood forever. I want you to consider something radical. What if it wasn't a mistake? What if it wasn't a tragedy? What if, on a level your conscious mind can't even comprehend, you and this person had an agreement before you ever even met? A soul contract, a karmic contract. What if their soul, in its infinite love for your soul, agreed to play this exact role in your life? What if their soul's greatest gift to you was to come into your life, show you all the places you were abandoning yourself, and then, at the precise perfect moment, to walk away? To break your heart so profoundly that it would force you to embark on this journey of awakening that you would have otherwise avoided for another lifetime? What if the person you see as your greatest source of pain was actually your most powerful spiritual teacher in disguise? They were the catalyst, the hired gun, the sacred agent of change whose job was to push you off a cliff so you would finally learn that you have wings. This perspective removes all blame. It removes all anger. It removes the entire narrative of, they did this to me. It reframes the entire experience into one of profound cosmic grace. They didn't betray you. They fulfilled their contract. Their departure was not an act of rejection. It was an act of activation. They played their part perfectly to set you free, and now their job is done. Your job is to take this freedom and run with it, to build a life so beautiful, so authentic, and so filled with self-love that you can look back at that sacred wound, not with sadness, but with a deep, soul-shaking gratitude. To be able to say, thank you. Thank you for leaving. Thank you for breaking my heart. You sent me back to myself. You were the beginning of everything. That pain you're feeling, it's not just pain, it's potential. It's the fuel for a life you haven't even dared to imagine yet. The greatest love story you will ever be in is the one with yourself. And it's just beginning. Don't waste this gift.